student per grade level, 3 through 12. There was one tie. We received a number of outstanding nominations. It was an extremely difficult vote. And congratulations to the students and the parents, teachers, and faculty for all of your hard work. So without further ado, we'll begin the recognizing the awardees.
Okay. So for third grade, Mr. Zachary Croft. For fourth grade, Ms. Samantha Dresch. For fifth grade, Ms. Tiffany Cox. For sixth grade, Ms. Cajun A. Brown. For seventh grade, Ms. Mahala Carter. For eighth grade, we have co-award winners, Ms. Zoe Skistitis and Ms. Chloe Skistitis. For ninth grade, Mr. Curtis D'Amico. For 10th grade, Ms. Aubriana Smithy. For 11th grade, Ms. Catherine Chung. For 12th grade, Mr. Matthew Rivera. Okay. So going back to 8th grade, we had co-award winners, Ms. Zoe Skistitis and Ms. Chloe Skistitis. All right, I saw a couple people coming in late. Mr. Matthew Rivera.
He's not here.
Okay. And Ms. Aubriana Smithy. No? Okay. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Gerstner, for your help with that. And once again, to the parents and students especially, great job this year. We're proud of you, and I'm humbled by what you did this year. You should be proud. All right, so the next item on the agenda is from McDonald Elementary. Dream out loud.
We have a presentation. Is there student here?
I'd like to see everybody stay for the rest of the meeting, right? Sorry, I was
We had a student at McDonald Elementary School to enter the Kentucky Dream Out Loud competition. And what it is Kentucky students in the grades K through 12 given the opportunity to think about college and what are their plans after college. And we had a student, Amaya Lamosiak, who she written a paper about animals and how she plans to save the animals and protect the animals. And she was awarded $1,000 scholarship to be applied to her scholarship fund. And the school was also awarded $500. So we were very proud of her. We just wanted to publicly congratulate her. Amaya? Congratulations.
Congratulations. Did you want to say something? She's only bashful when the microphone's there. Thank you.
Okay, the next item on the agenda is a facilities update. The members of the board have been provided a hard copy of the facilities update. Mr. Gerstner, do you have any items to share?
Yeah, I do, and I'd like to apologize to the public. We had originally announced that we were going to have this month's meeting at Kingsolver. It just is not ready for, we know if we open the doors that 1,000 of you will show. And without toilet paper, I think that's a dangerous proposition. We also have pallets with equipment that has not been installed yet in the hallways, and the building's not been cleaned. It just was unsafe for us to have you all over. So I've talked with Ms. Gibson, who will be the principal at Kingsolver next year, and we will open the doors at some point so that you can come look around before we have the official open houses in August. So probably sometime in July we'll be doing that, but let us get a little bit more ready. So Kingsolver is moving along. We're still having some difficulties getting the grass cut, which is an issue with a number of different people, but we're working towards it. The Fort Knox High School Middle School project is well underway. If you drive over there, they are actually pouring cement in the forms, and so it's moving along at great neck speed. Next week, after we release the students, we will be working on the internal classrooms to get ready for the 21st century model for next year. We'll be busy all summer in that building as well. We will be moving teachers from Van Voris to Kingsolver, teachers from McDonald to Van Voris, and some teachers from McDonald to Kingsolver in the next several weeks. We have a full summer of work ahead of us for moving teachers around. The Mudge Elementary demolition information is there. I think there's some recurring facilities topics about the tennis courts and the athletic facilities. I must say, I've been by them here lately. They look like they've really come along. So thanks for your attention to those things. And we will continue to work on those over the summer to prepare them for the fall seasons, which begin, hard to believe, in just a few months. So that's all I have on facilities update for now.
Okay, to the members of the board, are there any questions or comments on the facilities update? Hearing none, the next item is an update on the public information effort for next school year's elementary school footprint. And for those in the audience, this has been a several-month effort with the board and the superintendent to come up with the best community mix for the grade schools for next academic year. And some tough decisions had to be made. So that decision has been made, and the board is just following up to ensure that the information is getting out to the community so that there is no confusion going forward. So Mr. Gerstner, do you know where we stand?
Yeah, we do. We will have 2 elementary schools next year, and the decision to close McDonald was made primarily because we could not house pre-K and kindergarten students there. And then the secondary aspect of that is the bathrooms there, the toilets are really not appropriate for little children. And then there's some, if you go in the classrooms there, they're certainly not what we really would like to have for elementary age students. It was, after all, a building that was built for middle school students once upon a time. So we will be closing McDonald and moving students into, keeping students here at Van Voorst and keeping students at King Salter. So the neighborhoods for Van Voorst, which is easier to say, and there's a bug that's bothered me, I don't know why. Pritchard Park is here, and Chestnut Glen is here, and Maple Ridge is at Oak Park. Right, Maple Ridge is going to King Salter. Yeah, okay. And everything else is going to King Salter. So we will start the year with around 400 students here at Van Voorst and around 520 students at King Salter. So it allows for growth, which we also are anticipating with the arrival of the first TSC.
Okay, in terms of the public information campaign, have the websites been updated?
I think our registration, I know that I've received a number of, the word is out there because I've received a number of letters asking for an exception to zone. Some to go to King Salter and some to stay at Van Voorst. So we have the information out there to my knowledge. Laura?
Okay, and then Knox Hills, do we know if they have informational flyers?
Okay.
Yes, ma'am. No, I was asking if on the existing websites, if the neighborhood allocation had been updated yet.
Okay, I will send one call out tomorrow to everyone so they know.
Are there any comments or questions from the board on this topic? All right, hearing none, we'll move to new business. So this is the very exciting part of the board meeting. This is where we go through some reports that you can't see right now, the cafeteria report, the financial statement, but we'll verbalize those as we can, and then after the meeting, they will be hung on the website. So for the cafeteria monthly report, Mr. Gerstner, do you have any comments on it?
Only that the amount of accounts with negative balances is very low. It's just $2,550 with negative accounts. That's very low for this time of year. We will expect to have that zeroed out by the end of June. Some of this involves folks that are PCSing, and in some cases there will be steps taken to garnish wages, but with only $2,550, it's not very much. So we're very happy that it's so low for just 4 days before the end of the school year.
Okay, to the members of the board, do you have any comments on the cafeteria monthly report? Hearing none, the next item is a financial statement. And so we talked over the last two meetings about the obligation percentage, being a little low. And, as we look at the obligation percentages and the percent still available, do we think that funds may get shifted back?
I don't anticipate such. The lowest that we have at Scott right now, because we have an SSA that's not there, a school support supply person that does the purchasing. Can you tell us, Dr. Washington, you have a lot of orders in the queue?
Yes, my orders have been placed, and we have 2 people working on it now. Mr. Marcellus, Chair, and Maggie, and it is a warm period.
Okay, so we've doubled up our resources to meet. Okay, very good. McDonald is already met their 80% obligation for July. Van Voorhis is well over 50% now, and Fort Knox is just about at 50%. So at the high school, again, we don't have an supply person there, which is somewhat restricted, although we did hire a new administrative officer there, which will help.
Okay. The DODEA process for unfunded requests, if you're not fully obligated, are you able to submit those, or do you have to wait till you're fully obligated?
No, we are submitting that now, and there are some things that we've submitted some unfunded finance requirements already because they exceed the threshold of $3,500 that the credit card holders can purchase. So we've already started gathering that information, and those funds typically wouldn't come from this. They would come from fallout money that would come from contracts. So when contract obligations reach their completion point and we haven't spent all the money we have, then that money falls back to the agency, who then will fund requirements in a priority order that, quite honestly, I don't place at this level. I give them my priorities, and then they place them as an agency priority.
Ma'am?
Is this better? Okay.
All right, I'll do my best to lean in and speak with a loud voice. All right, to the members of the board, are there any questions or comments on this item? All right, hearing none. The enrollment report is next. Do you have anything to highlight, Mr. Gerstner?
We keep moving in a positive direction until this past month. And so we've had some PCS going the opposite direction for the first time, I think, this school year. So we lost a whopping 13 students from last month to this month. So not too big of an impact on our schools. And that would only make sense because the acceleration date happens 20 days before the end of the school year, so that folks who have orders, you have to have orders to PCS to leave early. So I would have expected there to be some less students this month, although we expect that thing to swing the other way with the arrival of the first TSC.
All right, to the board, are there any questions or comments on enrollment numbers? All right, hearing none. The next item on the agenda, the school board elections for the coming academic year. So to provide the community a background of conversations that in coordination that's already taken place in terms of timing, the window for packets for those parents that are interested will open on 20 July and close on 2 August. And the intent is to have the election on the back-to-school nights at each of the schools. So we'll push the information out through the gold standard, through the Facebook page, and any other means that we can think of. But I'll look each of you in the eye here and say that we need involved parents to participate in the board. We will at least have 2 empty seats in the coming year. I just urge you to think about running for the school board and giving back to your community. It doesn't take that much time, and you get a lot from it.
The schools at that point have email addresses to sponsor. Can the school email that out? Since I've been here
But we'd be happy to send out a one call. We can send out an email. We use one call, it's the same thing. One call is email.
Yep.
It's announced. You have to be on the email distribution from the school in order to get it. So they do send that out.
Yeah, I thought we had, but we'll make sure that we do.
All right, thank you for that. To the board, are there any comments or questions on the elections?
Because we have some places, Matt, just to talk to some of you about the importance of what the school board does. Besides holding a monthly meeting, they also they help with the school calendar, developing the school calendar, and they worked in concert with the teachers to make a suggestion to me for the school calendar, so they're very intimately involved in that. When we have difficulties with student behavior, and we have to look sometimes at an alternate education plan for a student, they sit on panels for us in that regard. This past year, and I spoke with a high school class this morning, we talked about the dress code. Everyone forgot about the dress code. It's nearly 12 months later, but we changed the dress code this year, honestly, because of the school board's work behind the scenes on that. And so that was a very important role that they played in getting the dress code changed. So it was, we hope, better for students, but hopefully better for families as well. So those are just 3 things that they accomplished this year, and there'll be other issues that will come up as we move forward. But I would encourage you to consider running. It's not much of a commitment. I don't know that we've taxed too many board members more than the hour or so a month. There's been a couple of small committee meetings, but the commitment that you make, it has great benefit to the school community. So I would encourage you to consider that you might run. As Scott said, there's going to be 2 openings, we think, on the board. So thanks. I just wanted to put a plug out there.
Thank you, Mr. Gerson. So the next item on the agenda is a final standardized test review for this academic year. So the board has been monitoring all the standardized test outcomes for the last 2 years, and the intent here is just to get a roll-up of any data that we have to kind of do a status check so that we can think about next year.
Okay. Do you have something? Luis? This is on the standardized test? No, hold on. This is on the standardized test? I'm sorry, I was distracted. Okay, so you're going to come up and talk about the math improvement plan?
Yes.
Okay, but the standardized test,
We haven't, our PSAT scores are, we all very consistently always look at that data and try to make improvements based on that data that we see. There are a lot of things, for example, we know that our scores in math are not the strongest, and we're working on developing, we have several things that we're developing for the next year, next school year, that we're going to be implementing to help us increasing those scores and getting the math to where we need to be. We're hiring 2 math teachers. We're going to continue to implement the CCR self-trainers and data center. That's ongoing. In fact, our teachers are going to be doing 2 days of in-services on that immediately after school is out. We're implementing an intervention period beginning of school year for next year. And that's going to help us out. We have the students who identify need assistance in math or reading or English or anything else. We provide this department instruction during that intervention period.
And not to, Mr. Dominguez, not to put you on the spot here, but in terms of the specific feedback from the standardized tests, do we have any sort of analysis, trend analysis that's leading to the next topic, which is the math improvement plan? Because that's really what we wanted to get to, is first understand where we are in terms of outcomes, and then understand kind of the
Right,
plan and
and-
where we're going to.
Yeah, as you know, we've talked about before, the math scores are pretty much on an even keel, and they need improvement. There's room for improvement with us with the math scores, with our data when it comes to that.
But you do not have the Terra Nova scores.
No, we don't have Terra Nova.
Okay. So we can table that, and Mr. Gerstner, what I would ask that perhaps we can have a written report that we can publicize on our webpage so that parents can dig into that. So we won't waste any more time on that.
Okay.
And we can, unless there are any objections from the board, roll right into the math improvement plan. And to the community, this is something for the last 6 months that the board has really been pushing and working in concert with the administration. They've been pushing hard as well to not accept the status quo for math outcomes and to try to find novel and new solutions to raise our overall competency level in math at all grade levels. So, Mr. Gershon, do you want to, I guess we can start at the high school here. So, Mr. Dominguez, I know you were talking about some of the specific interventions.
Correct.
And, you know, one of the things that I'm personally interested in is that the math lab or the intervention period that was discussed at the last meeting. I was hoping you may expound on that just a little bit in terms of which students will do math lab, how will they be identified, and is the intervention period and math lab the same thing?
No, the intervention period is something that we're implementing on top of the math labs. And for those not familiar, you have algebra lab and you have geometry labs, basically. Those labs are going to exist. They're there for the students for assistance if they need help in those subject areas. We put them in that. That's like an extra course they take. They get a credit as an elective for that course. And the idea is to help them be successful in that algebra class, in that geometry class, whatever they're taking. The intervention period is something that we're implementing to allow us to specifically target students if they have deficiencies in certain areas. So we're developing a test that we can give the students. We can allow that'll give us an idea as far as where the deficiencies are in those areas, and then we can give those students the ability to say, okay, well, you know, you're having problems with formulas, so let's put you here and get you to where you need to be so you can be successful with knowing how to do that, moving on to the next level.
So the intervention period, just so everybody understands, is it also a 1-hour class that is on the schedule?
It's about, well, not an hour, it's about 40 minutes, 42 minutes.
And it also counts as an elective?
No, it will not be they will not get a credit for that course. It'll be, or for that time period. So
And how long can the student be in there? It's not a full year class or full semester?
No, it's not going to be a full year. Not, you know, the intention is that once they've mastered whatever skills or deficiencies they have, we can move them around and send them somewhere else. And, you know, if you have a deficiency in something else, we can put you there. If you need to be accelerated with something, we can put you in a room where we can accelerate you and give you some more the tools and the skills that you need to be successful as you move on.
So then would, sorry to keep drilling on this, but I don't fully understand. So would this intervention period be during the math class then?
No,
that hour?
it's going to be built into our schedule. Every student's going to go there at the beginning of the school day. So it's going to be built into the beginning of the school.
Okay.
So it's kind